Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back. Happy to have you as we take a look back at a few more replay broadcasts for the Nexus Gaming Series. This first one, we're going to be looking back to Week 7, seeing Braincellmates take on Fundamentals in a best-of-3 series. This is B East, I don't know if I mentioned that. A little bit about these two teams. Braincellmates, they're currently in their 3rd season together, and a handful of the team actually has previous NGS experience together before Braincellmates formed up, with numerous members coming from the old team Heavy Slaps. And on the other side of the field, Fundamentals, they're a brand new team this season, and they're bringing some fresh faces into the Nexus. We've got 3 rookie players joining the league this season. So always exciting to see new people joining the NGS ranks. Happy to have them here with us. Let's head over to our battleground selection to see where we'll be going and where we won't. Game 1, we're headed to Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we saw map bans on Brax's Holdout and Sky Temple for Braincellmates, with Fundamentals banning away Towers of Doom and Volskaya Foundry. So let's get while the getting's good and head into game number 1. And we can introduce our teams. Here on the left in blue, we've got Braincellmates, Protoss Rule on Falstad, Jaeger playing Varian, Nixus on Tassadar, Amon on Oriel, and Juggerob playing Leoric. To the right in red, Fundamentals, we've got Ronin on Anubarak, Stixa on Vala, Tantrum on Nazebo, Rock Ripper on Urel, and Merovingian on Brightwing. So, an interesting scaling composition for Fundamentals with the Nazebo, Vala. Vala scales pretty well throughout the game. Nazebo really wants to get to level 20 for his largest power spike, with the potential for Vile Infection, if he can get 175 stacks of Voodoo Ritual together. He's also looking to put together some Toad stacks, the engagement onto Jaeger, but Rock Ripper is the one who takes most of the damage. In the end, they end up taking out Nixus. Merovingian saves Rock Ripper with a timely phase shift. So first blood goes to Fundamentals here. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Braincellmates are still without a tank. Jaeger on Varian won't be a full-fledged hero for the next 2 levels. We've also got Frequent Flyer at level 1 for Protoss Rule and Lion's Law for Jaeger. So a handful of different quests. Ronin taking a lot of damage here. Protoss Rule trying to chase down the bug. And it looks like we've got Juggerob making more frequent rotations up to mid. Rock Ripper a little bit weaker in the 1v1. Phase shift goes out onto Ronin, with Braincellmates breaking Amon and Protoss Rule off to start up their Bruiser camp. Nixus taking a lot of damage from Tantrum there on the Nazebo, but Nazebo pretty mana hungry in the early game, up to a little bit over 30 stacks on their Voodoo Ritual. They've only managed to land 3 Toads. Level 4 is online, so Taunt is available for Braincellmates. The timing with this Bruiser camp couldn't be any better. So Ronin Burrow charges in. They don't have their mobility tool now. Merovingian will get the phase shift. And another rotation from Juggerab just to support this Bruiser camp push. Protoss Rule and Jaeger trying to get a little bit of damage onto this fort front wall while the Bruiser camp is healthy and offering them spell armor. So a fair bit of damage put on there. Protoss Rule making the rotation down to bot lane, out of vision, to start up this siege camp. So Braincellmates definitely paying good attention to those mercenaries. Stixa having started up the bruisers will receive a phase shift just to help out with Vala's HP pool. Juggerab and Rock Ripper both trading pretty aggressively, but once Protoss Rule has this siege camp pushed out, it's going to make it a little bit tougher for Yrel to deal with two heroes and siege camp. We'll see how much fundamentals can get done here in mid lane. Both teams have enough gems in their pockets to secure the first Webweaver phase. Looks like most of those gems are on Juggerab and Rock Ripper, respectively. Braincellmates get an early clean on the Bruiser camp fundamentals, choosing not to support their push with the Bruisers. And they didn't manage to get enough space purchased for Rock Ripper to turn in their gems as well. There's the engagement onto Jaeger. Merovingian taking a lot of damage here. Taunt lands onto Ronin. And there's the phase shift as well. We've got level 7s on both sides. Divine Steed for Rock Ripper. Critical Mist for Merovingian. Merovingian in a lot of trouble here. They're going to be first takedown for Braincellmates. Ronin falling low here as well. Protoss Rule and Aemon getting the chase. One more Q might do it, but Protoss Rule cannot connect the Hammerang for the slow. Juggerab makes the rotation up to the top payment station, and they'll be able to drop off their 26 gems. Looks like Jaeger with 15 is the last piece of the puzzle here. They find Rock Ripper, but they immediately knock them away. There's the detainment strike from Aemon. Just 5 more gems, and Jaeger's in position to turn them in. And they'll get it done on the top side. I believe Nixus got their gems turned in. So first Webweaver phase goes in favor of Braincellmates. Makes a lot of sense. They're stronger in the early game thanks to their level 4 heroic talent. Ronin will escape with the Burrow Charge, getting under Nix's force wall. So 4 heroes committed to the top lane for fundamentals. Jaeger warding this rotation to mid. Level 10 almost online. A great detainment strike from Aemon secures another takedown for Braincellmates. Merovingian gets the rotation down to mid, and with heroics, Nixus is going to immediately pop the Archon and start working on the top fort wall siege. In addition to Archon, we've got Mighty Gust, Crystal Aegis, and Entomb. We've also got a level 10 for Varian, but it's not a heroic, so it's less exciting. It is Warbringer, so more dashes more often. Stixa vaulting in there. So a huge first objective for Braincellmates. Bottom fort went down, top fort went down, and it's a full 3-fort play after the first turn-in. Braincellmates also still have enough gems in their pockets for the next objective phase. Protoss Rule barrel rolls in. Merovingian is able to escape with the Soothing Mist. Tantrum caught in the Entomb. Merovingian low. Tantrum will fall. Ronin picks up the gems. So the economy for fundamentals still intact. With that takedown, Protoss Rule starts up the boss. They're going to be joined by the rest of Braincellmates. I'll be interested to see how Fundamentals handle this. Looks like they're going to get Rock Ripper turned in on the bot side. So they'll negate the push from the boss with a Webweaver push of their own. They've done a good job prepping mid-wave, but bottom with how far back the minions are. Oh, Stixa, we see the pings going out. Jaeger gets the taunt. Immediate Force Wall and Entomb. Excellent follow-up from Braincellmates. They're able to get a quick 2 takedowns onto Merovingian and Stixa. In mid lane, the Webweaver has reached the wall. It'll get a little bit of siege done on the top side. Boss getting through that first keep tower as well, as Braincellmates round their level 13 talent tier. What do we have? Shadow Walk, Piercing Lash, Sustained Winds, and what is the healing reduction called? I never remember. Mortal Strike. Is that Willing Vessel at 13 for Juggerab? Unyielding Despair, rather. Yes. Willing Vessel's at level 7. So, a Drain Hope build for Leoric. Looking to get those spooky hands connected. Ronin would love to drop these 42 gems off. It's very hard to zone for your team effectively when you're holding on to their whole economy. So Juggerab won't get scouted on this siege camp. Bruiser camp in mid will mitigate a lot of the threat from the Fundamentals objective phase. Fundamentals are also still looking for their level 13 talents. They're grouped up, committing all 5 heroes to mid. Jaeger gets the taunt onto Ronin. Soothing Mist used. Ronin does not receive the phase shift in time. There's the Ardent Defender. Merovingian falling very low. They'll blink to safety. And so another takedown right as the Webweavers descend means that Braincellmates are going to get a relatively easy clear. Top Webweaver, a little bit of progress on the fort front wall, but I don't know that they'll get more than the front wall. Juggerab heavily rotated on. Tantrum, oh, what a great gust! The fly gust from Protoss Rule, but Tantrum drops the Gargantuan. Rock Ripper will fall. Tantrum will fall. Whew. A extraordinarily heads-up play from Protoss Rule, getting that fly gust, punishing the overcommitment for the Leoric gank. Leoric, one of the most survivable offlaners with their ability to go unstoppable. Another taunt, this time onto Ronin. Nixus a little bit slow on the follow-up with the Force Wall. We've got level 13s for Fundamentals, but we've also got level 16s for Braincellmates. Airy Gusts, so Tailwind's cooldown a little bit lower, means percent damage will be available for Protoss Rule more often. We've also got Reservoir of Hope for Aemon, a big power spike. We can see Rock Ripper jumping towards their team. That's to get as much value out of their level 4 as possible. There's the Burrow Charge, but it's immediately met with a Pistol Aegis. A huge Detainment Strike onto Ronin. Merovingian phase shifts in and blinks back out, but Ronin still falls. Stixa getting chased down here. Rock Ripper unable to connect the armor from their level 4 onto the Vala, so another takedown for Braincellmates, 12-1 with a 4-level lead. They get through mid-keep, they're going to transition up to the top keep as well. The respawn timers for Fundamentals are still pretty low. Jaeger caught in the Force Wall here, and by that I mean Zombie Wall, of course. A Detainment Strike once again, followed up by the taunt. Rock Ripper falls without an Ardent Defender. Without Ardent Defender, I should say. They're in a lot of trouble. Core down to below 50% here, and it looks like that's going to do it for game one. Going pretty strongly in favor of Braincellmates. GG and well played to the blue team. The early game snowball of the Varian composition was hard to deny. Jaeger looking very comfortable on the King of Stormwind, getting the taunt kills that one hopes to secure when locking in a Varian composition. We can take a look at our post-game stats here. Protoss Rule, top of the lobby with 30,000 hero damage. Tantrum close second at 29.5. But once again, it's not about the who did how much damage. It really does come down to the takedowns. And 13 with the only takedown that Fundamentals were able to secure being in that level 1 fight kind of tells the whole tale. As we take a look at our builds once again, we saw the Drain Hope build from Leoric with Unyielding Despair at 13 and Crushing Hope at 16. The auto attack build for Protoss Rule with Frequent Flyer 1 and Sustained Winds 13. What else? 50 stacks of the Toads, so not terrible. And Tantrum was on pace to get their Vile Infection stacks together, up to 147 stacks of Voodoo Ritual. Unfortunately, you need to get to level 20 to be able to use the level 20 talent. And Braincellmates had other plans. So there you go, game 1 in the history books. So let's see where we'll be headed for game 2. Alright, game 2 happening on Alterac Pass. A very different dynamic as far as battleground play is concerned between these two. The large battleground does not have as much rotational influence on it, so Braincellmates won't be able to find the picks in rotation like they were able to with the Varian composition for game 1. Perhaps Fundamentals, they were able to secure 1 global in the Brightwing. They might try and pick up more of that. Of course, Braincellmates also had the Falstad, so it's not like one side or the other is more suited to the global play. We'll just have to see how it shakes out and see if Fundamentals were able to bring it to a game 3 in the series. So let's get into game number 2 here on Alterac Pass. Introducing Braincellmates on the left once again. We've got Protoss Rule on Falstad, Eamon on Lucio, Nixus on Sylvanas, Jaeger playing Anubarak, and Juggerrob playing Hogger. And to the left in red, trying to take us to a game 3 in the series Fundamentals, we've got Merovingian on Brightwing, Tantrum on Kael'thas, Stixa playing Junkrat, Rock Ripper on Dahaka, and Ronin on ETC. So double global for Fundamentals. Not bad on this battleground. I don't favor this battleground for Dahaka because of the relative dearth of bushes. You're not able to get as much movement speed as you might otherwise enjoy. Level 1 talents. Yeah, and we've opted for enhanced agility at level 1. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Not my preference, to be sure. Auto attack build for Protoss Rule once again with Frequent Flyer at level 1. Tantrum looking to pick up globes for their Mana Addict at level 1. I'm a little concerned for Fundamentals based on the draft. Kel'Thas and Junkrat, not necessarily the highest kill pressure as far as a DPS duo are concerned. Juggerab starting up the camp with fundamentals, sending Merovingian and Stixa. And I missed the takedown onto Ronin. First blood going over to Braincellmates. I was too excited to see people hit mercenaries. Interesting that Braincellmates don't take that opportunity to get a little bit of push done in mid. Phase shift up to top lane. Tantrum falling very low here. Protoss Rule won't get the takedown, but Tantrum is going to have to head back to the Hollow Storms and collect some more resources. Level 4s for Braincellmates and its possession for Nyxus. Given the Sylvanas and Anubarak, I'd expect Braincellmates have the opportunity to get a lot of split pushing done if they so choose. Ronin burrow charged by Jaeger there, but yeah, they could just choose to play this a couple different ways. They're having a lot of success with the straightforward pushing, but once the objective spawns, the combination of Anubarak and Sylvanas means that Anubarak can put pressure by themselves on the objective. Their ability to solo cap it thanks to their trait beetles means that Fundamentals always has to babysit the Anubarak, and when that's happening, Nyxus can black arrows and possession for a side lane push if they so choose. Nyxus feeling the mighty axe of ETC. We've already got Juggerab taking care of the second round of mercenary camps. Rock Ripper, Tantrum, and Stixa all taking care of the reciprocal bruiser camp. And it looks like Rock Ripper committed the global for that. They don't have their Brush Stalker available anymore. Protoss Rule getting a decent amount of push done on the top side. And importantly, still has Fly available. So it looks like Stixa trying to do a little bit of double duty, both stalling the objective and clearing mid-port. Ronin has to back up, receive some healing. Merovingian able to deliver the phase shift. And this push in mid lane is difficult to rebuff. There's the stun, followed up by the polymorph, but no damage follow-up. Level 7s on both sides. Critical miss once again for Merovingian, so a heal when using the Soothing Mist cleanse. Stixa has opted for Concussion Mine build with Blow 'em Up, Boom Pow, and Bogged Down. Checking in on the top side. Rock Ripper gets the drag onto Protoss Rule, but the minion means that they won't eat too much damage from the tower there. Braincellmates a little bit ahead towards their heroics. It's thanks to their hero takedowns as well as their structure experience. Yeah, they're edging out on minion XP as well. Juggerab starting up the Null camp once again. Stixa and Tantrum making the rotation as well with Rock Ripper, it looks like. Did Rock Ripper opt for one who collects 4? Yes, they did. So they have extra damage to mercenaries. There's the cleanse from Merovingian. Ronin taking a lot of damage here. And this is the threat of the Possession Sylvanas with Anubarak. next to her. Able to get a lot of push done. And Braincellmates doing a great job just pushing fundamentals around the battleground here. Jaeger connects the cocoon. Styx is still in range for these stalls. And fundamentals are able to equalize on the heroic talent tier. Anything out of the ordinary? Juggerrob in kind of deep here. They've still got their spin. So they'll get out to safety. Hog Wild making them unstoppable. Mid fort has taken so much punishment. And on the bot side, Braincellmates are working on the bottom fort as well. It's what their composition is built to do. Yank fundamentals in every different direction. They're doing a fantastic job with it. Rock Ripper falling extraordinarily low there, but they've still got their well. First structure goes in favor of Braincellmates here. And mid-fort was a lot of the safety that Styxa needed to set up for these permanent Junkrat stalls. Checking in on top side. Protoss Rule continuing to pepper down the Dahaka. Neither side wants to commit their global too early. There's the mosh pit, but a great cleanse from Aemon gets Jaeger out. They're able to interrupt the mosh with their burrow charge. An isolation onto the Nubarak, and so first takedown for fundamentals. Of course, it'll come at a cost. Protoss Rule is going to be able to get a lot of damage onto this top fort here. First objective channel goes in favor of fundamentals, but Protoss Rule might just get the fort. Yeah, Merovingian hearthing back. A very healthy null camp in mid. And Protoss Rule continues to push unfettered here in the top lane. Nixus tries to get a little more cheeky damage. They turn it around for some damage onto Styxa. And Aemon chases him down for the takedown. Merovingian committed the phase shift onto Ronin. Oh, and on the objective, we had Rock Ripper go down as well. Merovingian able to blink to avoid the impale. Ronin catches 2 with the power slide. Fundamentals trailing a little bit towards their 13 talent tier. Heavy casters at 13? Yep. So a stun available for Lucio as well. So 2 forts before the first objective gets channeled. Not a bad outcome. All 3, in fact. A little bit of a gravity lapse there. Burrow charge in. Jaeger's in deep. Able to walk out totally fine. And first objective goes in favor of Braincellmates. They're doing an excellent job pulling fundamentals across the battleground, as mentioned. Fundamentals have evened up on the talent tiers here. They've got their 13s to match with. Styxa opting for bombs away. Interesting backdraft. Not what I'm accustomed to seeing at 13. That's the slow? Yeah, movement speed slow on Living Bomb. Alright, very cool. We'll see how hard Braincellmates are willing to commit to any of these pushes. They've got Protoss Rule pushing solo in top. I don't know if they've used black arrows yet. Jaeger booped in. They still have burrow charge, I believe? Yeah, so they'll get out to safety. Ronin unable to lock down the Anubarak. Checking in on the top side. Rock Ripper in a lot of trouble against Juggerrob, and they hit the drag onto a minion, so they're gonna fall. Juggerrob commits. Oh, they don't die. It's Juggerrob over chasing. The Hortipult in, unable to seal the deal. All right, well played. to Rock Ripper. There's the fly from Protoss Rule. They want to get this bottom boss started as quickly as possible. On the opposite side, Fundamentals still trailing towards their 16s. It's thanks largely to the deficit there in minion experience as well as passive. But those takedowns will help kind of equalize things, trailing by about 2 levels here. And it looks like Braincellmates won't be able to stop this top boss from going in favor of Fundamentals. They've also got a camp in mid for pushing. Tantrum gets caught out. I think this is a dead Kael'thas no matter which way you split it. Absolute mayhem. Poor Blood Elf. Boss still very healthy. It's a pretty healthy wave behind him as well. Top keep goes down to a Black Arrows push. Mid keep is the next target for Braincellmates. Fundamentals get the stun onto one. The Mosh gets interrupted by the Gust. A silence lands onto Lucio. Rock Ripper hits a speeding Lucio, which is challenging to do. Unfortunately, they were already speed boosting themselves to safety. And so they get out of trouble. Another mercenary camp in mid lane for Braincellmates. We're even on talent tiers. What do we got? Hush at 16 for Merovingian. Ignite. Cool. It's a 2-level lead for Braincellmates, but we are even on talent tiers. 5 heroes committed on both sides. Well, Ronin's actually in mid, kind of starting to clean up that Null camp. There's the cleanse onto Jaeger. Ronin gets the slide in. So much damage onto the ETC. The Wailing Arrow connects onto Rock Ripper as well. They catch Jaeger with a drag here. Protoss Rule spreading the bombs. Merovingian falling low. They'll blink out and use the Soothing Mist to get the cleanse. Stixa goes. Oh my gosh, so much fighting on both sides. All right, so Tantrum and Rock Ripper are the ones to fall. Stixa makes it out after Juggerab burrow charged in there. Jaeger very low. Yeah, Braincellmates are going to clean up the rest of the keeps. They've got Juggerab taking care of the objective as well. And it's going to be a difficult defense for Fundamentals to make, to say the least. The Hacker respawns now. There's the Gust from Protoss Rule. And Fundamentals are able to secure the capture on that mercenary camp. Merovingian walking pretty far out there. Dropping a spray or so. Just a little cheeky, how you doing? Even so, Jaeger goes in. There's the tanks both engaging past one another. The silence onto ETC was a bit too much, and they will fall. Rock Ripper in deep as well. So both the frontliners taken down. Eamon trying to chase down Tantrum here. Jaeger lands the cocoon, and there's the headbanger for the percent damage at level 16 from Hogger. What? Didn't go headbanger. For Zerker, we gotta talk, Jugger. That is not a 16 talent you want to pick up. Either way, Braincellmates take another clean win in Game 2. And so they're able to secure the domination back in week 7. Let's take a look at our talents and builds once again. Rather, talents and stats. Let's see, anything out of the ordinary. Bloodthirsty and Berserker? Is that Bloodthirst and Berserker? No. To each their own. Level 20. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Oh, it's a bit surprising. Nixus on Sylvanas didn't have a lot of excellent 20s to choose from. I see Bolt of the Storm picked most often, but Deafening Blast was the choice for Nixus. And Secret Stash at 20. My. So, some non-standard builds there. Elongated Tongue for Dahaka at 16. Endless Nades. Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. Outside of the Hogger build being a little bit outside of what I'm accustomed to seeing. Let's check on the shiny numbers. Let's see who did what. Brightwing a little bit less healing than the Lucio. ETC able to pitch in with some healing of their own thanks to their level 1 prog rock. Protoss Rule with nearly 14,000 experience. Yeah, it was a matter of split push value in the early game and kind of snowballing that into hero takedowns in the mid and late game for Braincellmates. They looked very clean on Alterac. So, small battleground or large battleground, it does not matter. They're comfortable on either. So this was back in week 7. It's been quite a bit since then. Let's see where our standings are currently. Braincellmates currently in 3rd position with 27 points. So they've performed very well this season. I had the pleasure of playing against them very recently. They're a strong team. They were very close games. It was lots of fun. And that'll do it for our first replay broadcast. I'm going to stick around and do another, so if you're here live with us, feel free to stay tuned. But we'll do a quick sign-off for the fine folks watching in the future on YouTube. So before I sign off, I want to give some shout-outs. First, to the folks who tuned in to support the broadcast and these teams. Also, a huge shout-out to all of the people who volunteer their time to make the Nexus Gaming series run. It's awesome to be able to participate in a free amateur Heroes of the Storm league, and it wouldn't be possible without all their hard work. And last but not least, a massive shout-out to all of the artists, programmers, and musicians whose work I feature here on the stream. It wouldn't look or sound anywhere near as good without their contributions. And you can find links to all of their work below or coming up in a credit roll here after I sign off. Please do go check out their work. It's all open source or Creative Commons licensed work. So if you've heard or seen anything that you like, it could be in your next project as well. Until next time, friends, good luck and have fun. Peace and love.